and he didn't have a weapon. And he was in the worst place on earth. And he got a Congressional Medal of Honor because he kept going in to the worst place possible and dragging wounded guys out with no regard for himself. I mean, who does that kind of stuff?
Right.
And over again. He didn't just do it once. He did it hundreds of times. He finally got, hit with shrapnel and a bunch of other stuff, but he lived to be an old man. But wow. And it was just pure faith. So, those guys, those kind of stories inspire the hell out of me.
So, back to this idea of evolution. So, do you believe that evolution exists in animals? Or do you think there's some sort of a natural selection process, or do you think that it is all intelligent design?
Well, I think everything is created, right? And maybe things do move on and adapt and change through time, but I think that that's a function of an intelligence also. And look at the fires in LA. What's that gonna do? It's gonna give me a new house, maybe. And,
or a new place to live.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I'm just not totally convinced. I feel, and I can't really, I'm sorry, I can't intellectually tell you why I don't believe in evolution, but I don't. It's just a feeling. I don't think I was some ape, or I don't think my ancestors were. I think they had to be pretty smart to survive.
So what do you think all these pre-human hominids are that they keep discovering?
Like, tell me what a pre-human hominid
like Australopithecus, or some of the other human-like creatures that never made it, like Denisovans, Neanderthals.
Yeah, stuff like that. Okay, well, they've got something called Zinjanthropus. You remember him?
No.
Zinjanthropus, man. He was like, kind of like this. But it was like, they looked at it, and they did some core samples on it, and it was put out there by people advocating evolution, and they discovered that it was a human skull attached to the jaw of an ape.
Oh, I do remember.
So
been some hoaxes. Yeah, but there's also been real stuff.
Really?
Yeah. You don't think so?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, what do you...
Well, like, I don't know, tell me.
Well, what was that one that we looked at the other day that was one of the first pre-humans that buried their young, or buried their dead, rather? Was it Homo Ninaldi? What was it? Remember that? I can't remember how to say it, but no lady. Yeah, a pre-human hominid, very small creature that buried their young, or buried their dead. Rather, I keep saying buried their young. They buried their dead. Australopithecus. There's a bunch of different. The Lucy skeleton. There's a bunch of different pre-human hominids.
Yeah, maybe they were monkeys. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
well, they're similar to us, just not where we are.
Yeah.
They're on the road to becoming what it means to be a human being.
Yeah. I don't know.
What do you think those are?
I don't know. They could be animals, or they could be like, look at today. You can get some mosquito can bite you, and your kid can be born with a malformed skull or something. It's like, they have those,
Yeah, but this is like a genetic thing. Like they've mapped the genome of these creatures.
Oh, they have?
They're different. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to explain those, Joe. I don't know.
But you do think that human beings were created by God?
I do. Yeah.
When do you think that happened?
When? Oh, probably, and not that long ago.
Really?
No, not really.
Like, what do you mean by not that long ago?
Probably only about 8,000 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you think things like Göbekli Tepe are when they find these constructions that are carbon dated to 11,000 plus years old?
I question carbon dating.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that makes things a lot simpler.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of money in claims and.
Real? Water's there. Yeah. Well, carbon dating seems to be pretty rock solid studies. The science behind radiocarbon dating, detecting carbon isotopes. It's like, that's pretty legit.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't score.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to.
And I don't have to. And
Yeah.
what difference is it going to make?
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't make a difference in terms of your experience in this life on Earth. Like you can have your faith in your ideas and live a great life from beginning to end, and it might not suit you to really ponder evolution and all the puzzling problems.
It doesn't. And I just I look at all sorts of stuff like that. The iceberg, water overflowing.
It's not.
Ever have a glass full of ice and watch it melt? Have you ever seen a glass flow over?
No.
It takes a mess.
Yeah.
A hot greenhouse.
Well, there's a lot of horseshit that's involved in climate change for sure. I've studied that, and I've had many discussions over the last 4 years. The problem with anything is that once a narrative gets established, and then there's a profit attached to the solution to that narrative.
Yes.
And that's green energy and green energy bills, and there's businesses that are wrapped around there. And then there's also this fear that they love to pump into people about climate change. That they terrify the shit out of
Look at you, old malicious motherfucker.
Climate change
So who we
must
gonna
act
rob?
now.
Oh,
And then
cool. We gonna
you
have him
become
took.
beholden to the political party that it's espousing these ideas, and then your enemy is the deniers of this science, even though you don't even understand the science.
Yeah.
And did you see the Washington Post article that they published recently about temperature change on Earth?
No.
Well, there's a what they've realized is over the last, X amount of thousands of years that the temperature on Earth is plummeting.
Yeah.
And it's dropping. And then when they look at the dips, this is the most important thing for anybody that's really freaked out about climate change. There's no static temperature of Earth ever. There's never been a time where it maintains a temperature until human beings came along and fucked it all up. That is just not real. Before human beings ever existed, you trust these core samples, there's been a giant rise and fall and this constant dip. There it is. Scientists have captured Earth's climate over the last 485 million years. Here's a surprising place we stand now. Look at the dip at the end. That's where we are. That's reality. And then if you look at the course of history, you look at the rise and fall, it's never a straight line. Way before human beings ever existed, if you believe these silly people. Way before human beings ever existed. There's always this rise and fall. And this idea that the whole thing is based on carbon emissions from human beings is total bullshit. It's not true. We might be having that, but we're having a small effect, a very small effect. And the other things are completely outside of our control, including solar activity, the distance between the Earth and the Sun. There's a lot of factors. There's all sorts of factors involving natural activities like volcanic emissions, which devastate the entire human race. Not counting 2,000 people at one point in time because of the COVID.
No life.
Yeah, no life for years. Good luck. Good luck. The people that survive are fucking Americans. It's the most savage, and then it takes a long time before they can figure out civilization again after that.
It's like dinosaurs. They just stop. So what did they evolve into?
Chickens,
I guess.
birds, raptors. Well, they think a lot of dinosaurs had feathers now.
Yeah.
That's the newest thing. You don't think so?
I don't know. I need to take a peek.
Okay, let's take a break.
I need to take a picture. It's a nice picture.
That's got to be a moment in your head where you just every now and then just go, whoa.
Yeah. It is funny. Yeah. But it was a good picture. The only thing that was going through my head was, okay,
Oh, no!
I just can't look bad. And I didn't have anything. No grooming. Tried my best to not look too.
Yeah, you talk about humility. Like, what gives you more humility than being publicly humiliated?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, public humiliation. And it's, you know what? For most people, it is their number one fear.
Sure.
Is public humiliation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Public speaking, and because of that, public humiliation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Because we're so concerned about other people's opinions of us.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we're
I'm
not sure
callous
of our
to it
own
now.
opinions about it. Well, we've been through a lot.
Well, so have you.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, I think
Sure.
they were giving you a grilling once for taking horseworm medicine.
Yeah. Funny.
Which
Funny
which
how
is-
that works.
Yeah, funny how that works.
Well,
Funny how that does work.
Yeah. What's really funny is how that was a part of the demise of mainstream media. Because people are like, well, this is crazy. This doesn't make. Are you guys really the news? Like, what is this?
Yes, I know.
You know?
They seem to be complicit with a.
Oh, 100%.
And you think, well, why? But why?
Because of money.
I
I
guess.
think this is what we were talking about before, that there is good and evil.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it manifests itself in a very clear and obvious way. And I think that's what that was. That was evil. That was putting people's lives second and putting money first.
Well, I don't know why Fauci's still.
How is that guy still walking around?
I don't get it.
If just people understand the history of the AIDS crisis and what that guy did back then.
Did you read that book?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read
Yeah.
the book. I listened to it.
Yeah, I did too.
I drove up to San Francisco, and I listened to it, and I had road rage.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, whoa. How is he still there?
How is, first of all, people that don't believe it, how come RFK Jr. didn't get sued?
Yep.
How come there's no lawsuits? If there was lies, there would be lawsuits. He would be publicly humiliated. Instead, they kept that book off bestseller lists. That book sold millions of copies.
I know.
They hid it. That's when you find out that bestseller lists are actually curated. It's not really bestseller.
It's censored. It's all censored.
Yeah.
Everything's censored.
But that book is an accurate depiction of what Anthony Fauci did.
Morse
during
Mutual.
the AIDS
How can I be of
crisis,
service?
which Probably
I think
was
we
an
can do that.
AZT crisis.
Yeah,
more
and
than
now-
it was an AIDS crisis.
I mean, it's fairly incontrovertible now that he was
Right.
fooling with gain of function.
100%.
And it's why is he still around?
Right.
What
Or
you need,
at
boss?
least
Some wheels?
free.
I can
Right.
bring them around.
Right. And no repercussions.
Yeah, whatever happened to that story where the wombat and the weasel got together and
Yeah.
were horsing around and a bat pissed
on the
on
way.
with a golden shower.
Yeah.
It's like, and all of a sudden it was in a wet market.
Yeah.
Very wet market. You got
Complete total horseshit. And
Totally.
the scientists that we're supposed to trust.
Yeah, pitching that bullshit. Just like the AIDS guy. Some green monkey did a Martha Stewart on the ass. Then he went around the world and got everybody sick.
You want to go through the AIDS crisis. Peter Duisberg.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I read that book.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah.
He's telling the truth. This is the fucking COVID crisis times 1,000. Yeah. I had him on the podcast way back in the day. He was one of the earlier guests. It was one of the first times I got openly attacked for someone being on the podcast. It was like, blood is on your hands. I'm like, first of all, no, it's not. It's 2010. Who's dying today? 0 people. So stop. It's not blood's on your hands. Like, if this guy's correct, he's a tenured professor at the University of California, Berkeley, who is, like, his work on cancer is, everybody thinks it's groundbreaking work. Brilliant doctor, but he was a heretic. He was a guy who stood outside of Fauci's
The narrative.
doctrine and the narrative, and he said, I don't believe that HIV is what's causing this. When all these people are having these immune systems, they're all heavy drug users. He's like, I think this is a disease of a decimation of the immune system due to heavy drug use. And then on top of that, you're prescribing this chemical, this AZT, that kills people. They stopped using it for chemotherapy because it was killing them quicker than cancer was.
I was sitting here. I was going to a funeral once. My friends. It's good. In the 80s and 90s.
And they were all getting AZT.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the ones that were getting AZT, even the ones that were asymptomatic, like Magic Johnson, they were giving Magic Johnson AZT. He had to stop taking it.
Yeah.
Because he was making him sick. It was killing him.
Yeah, I read it. And it's even with RFK's book. And he's an amazing guy. People say, oh, he's kooky, he's crazy. He's not crazy.
He's not.
He's one of the most erudite, he's not, they say he's an anti-vaxxer. He's not.
He's not.
He's like, he's a very shrewd, he's never lost a case, I don't think, when he brings something to suit. I don't think he's ever been defeated. But that book is not just him. It's him and about 1,000 highly qualified scientists and physicians commenting on
Yes.
the whole situation. So
Yeah.
when you read it, it's a pretty convincing document. And you're right, nobody sued him for it.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary.
Well, not only do they not sue him, their response is to try to ignore it. They don't want to debate him on it. They don't want to do anything.
No.
They want to just ignore it and hope it goes away. But it doesn't go away. And the more people talk about it, the more people read it. And when you do read it, you go, if this is true, what the fuck is going on? And how is that monster still loose?
This ain't his fucking music to be selling.
Yeah.
I'm gonna head over to Dre's crib because he gonna want a live update on this one.
But first of all, there's so many instances of him lying. There's so many, like, where he said one thing, 2 years later, said one thing, whether it's the mask thing, whether it's these natural spillover, the lies about gain of function to Congress. When he was lying to Rand Paul about whether or not they did gain of function, how is that not? How is he not in trouble?
Yeah, well, hey, other mysteries, you know.
Well, then the Biden administration is now talking about taking that guy and giving him a full pardon. It's like,
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, they might. And I gave Hunter a pardon.
Yeah.
Hunter didn't need a pardon.
Hey ladies, hey gents.
Well,
hey
I mean,
ladies
he's in
again.
trouble for tax evasion.
Thank you
There's
for
a lot
coming
of
to my
tax
little
problems.
soiree. Let me apologize for the
definitely did
unusual
some
arrangement this
uncool
evening. I have a little
things. And then
business
there's the
matter to
Barr-Nunn
attend to
thing.
inside, but don't worry.
The crazy thing about his pardon is it starts at the time of him being involved in bereavement. So it's from 2011 all the way to today. It's when he pardoned him. The biggest sweeping pardon anyone's ever received ever. And Biden's pardoning of people who did it. He was already over 8,000 people
I'm
pardoned.
using it to track down the music.
A lot of criminals.
Whoa,
Yeah.
what the hell, guys? What's going on out here?
But then there's also,
Everyone calm down.
you know, where they're locking up kids and putting them in child detention centers because they wanted money. And they're doing it for kickbacks.
I saw that.
Yeah.
You're by the DJ,
Again, we're
right?
talking about good
I think they
and
own me.
evil.
What's
But
up?
these are
This
real
DJ
things.
isn't
And
even doing anything.
rational
Equipment is streaming music from
people that
somewhere
profess
else.
themselves to be intelligent and secular, they don't want to believe in good and evil. They don't think that they just think
I'm gonna
that
try to
people
track
do
down
bad
the source
things.
now.
People have motivation to do
heads
bad
up.
things, but they don't want to
Looks
think
like our
of the
buddy just
concept
mobilized
of
his
good.
private military. Great, so in spite of the clusterfuck, I used your phone and the Wi-Fi to find the
People want to
music
pretend they're
broadcast.
smarter
It's coming
than
from
the people
inside the
that
mansion.
Hey, looks like Dre wanna
embrace
holler
it.
after you. Here you go, homie. Only person that has the right to sell my fucking
Are we smarter than
man, fuck this place up.
Well, we are about
Alright,
something,
looks
so we
like
can
you a
survive the way they did.
Keep
They're
doing what you
obviously
doing. Smash that shit.
just they didn't have access to
This ought to
information
get his
the way we
fucking
did. But
attention.
there's a difference between
Okay, you want the music?
I'm hearing some radio chatter about prepping a helicopter. Get ready to go after
I
him.
don't have many devices for information. I read books.
I don't care whatever the fuck you
Yeah.
gotta do. Break equipment, pop a few guards. Dre wants some messes.
Fascinating. It was written by a guy who's now deceased, named Alan Eckert. And it is really about Ohio
He's airborne.
and Kentucky.
Hey, job well done. Now get after his ass.
Who was just an Irishman. He wasn't much for farming and stuff, but so he ran away because he thought he was some crime or something, and he ended
Don't
up
lose
being
sight of it. Keep wearing it down.
and it's a very interesting document because you get the history of what was going on at the time when the country was opening up between the settlers and the Indians, and Shawnee. One of the most brutal. It's very, it hasn't happened, but it's reconstructed from just all kinds of historical documents, letters and diaries and stuff. So I think the guy took
Not to be a
about 15
buzzkill,
years.
but FYI, some more private military just arrived.
This guy Simon Kenton. The second one was about Tecumseh, the chief. One of the most fascinating books I read. You can't read it.
Really? I'm gonna hit that right now.
Yeah.
Have you ever read The Empire of the Sun and Moon?
Nope.
The Empire of the Sun and Moon is about the Comanche.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all about the settling of this area. It's fucking incredible. And again, one of the most brutal books ever. So this is the frontiersman?
Frontier. Alan.
I've got access to his comms in the chopper. He's freaking the fuck out up there.
So that I make sure that I have it.
Yeah. And it's only a little bite-sized show. And it actually, for a history book,
I'm
has
getting a
this
mayday from the
incredible
chopper. Stay on it. You'll need to see where it goes down.
heroes and villains and all the players. Very interesting. Oh yeah. Don't read it before bed.
No?
No, it gets pretty dark.
Why are you so drawn to history?
I don't know. I think because maybe I'm trying to learn something. It's been about 80 years since the last big war. I think I just want to learn. I mean, my dad went to World War II. Well, got bit by mosquitoes, malaria, which is interesting to know that he used to take hydroxychloroquine for malaria.
Isn't that crazy?
And then when I tried, my doctor recommended I get it, COVID, they gouged me. It used to cost him $30. They wanted $800 for gouging.
Well, not only that, when Trump talked about it, then all of a sudden they demonized it.
Yeah, they laughed.
Yeah, which is crazy because it's an antiviral.
It worked.
Yeah, it works on malaria.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people have been taking it forever.
Sure, pregnant women can take it.
Yeah.
Flu, and it doesn't hurt them.
Yeah.
Pretty safe.
But that's what's so bizarre about the time that we just went through because there's more information now available to people instantaneously than ever before.
Yeah.
You look it up on your phone, instantly know, oh, ivermectin, the guy who created it, won the Nobel Prize.
Yeah. 2014.
Yeah. 15. Yeah, for use in human beings. So what the fuck is going on?
Get the fuck out of here.
Like, who's running this thing?
And it's harmless. And it
Yeah.
wasn't made for horses. It was
Right.
made for people. And then they used it for horses.
Right.
Right? So
Well, it's like saying because they use it out on horses too. Like, that's stupid.
they told me it was from moldy bread.
That's what it was from, yeah. But, I mean, there's a lot.
Looks like the private military didn't get the
say it's
memo about their
infection
dead
rate.
employer yet.
Hey, they don't even know they ain't getting paid for this shit. Just trying to lose something.
Billions.
It's like the stuff they started using on horses with emphysemattic lung conditions, racehorses, because they would bleed. And they got the stem cells from the umbilical cords of their offspring and healed their lungs, which is part of my story. Because I smoked for 45 years. Alan Carr, not the little guy who managed the village people in the cabinet. No, this other guy. The book babies. They're in this book. There was a book called The Easy Way to Smoke Some. And it's a silly title. And it sat up, my son gave it to me. He said, stop selling it. Here's your book. I left it on. I used to walk past the bookshop on the gun. And then I finally, my doctor said, first, I think it was like neurolinguistic program. So
What did they tell you?
it said, it didn't tell you if you were bad or you're going to die. It didn't tell you all that sort of stuff. It was like, I mean, they had things like, they had a chapter where it said, okay, we focused on the good aspects of smoking in the next chapter. Turn the page on the pages. And it's just a trick. The whole thing is and I don't know. But it was sort of like self-criticism stuff. And it wasn't negative. Like, I'm still this is bad, it's bad, I'm scared. It wasn't even that. In fact, if I hadn't had the stem cells out there, my lungs completely healed.
Okay, update just came through to the military. The billionaire has been confirmed as KIA.
Yeah, we talked.
Shit, watch how fast they bounce when they find out all the money's out of the picture.
Can't get them. They get them overseas. We get it in Panama. We get it in this clinic. In Tijuana.
They're getting better.
They're getting better, but there's so much resistance because of the FDA.
Yeah, sure.
And the resistance is purely because of money. It's an evil thing. It's not because they're not effective. It's not because they're dangerous. It's just because of money.
I think so. And,
Yeah.
You know, there's an agenda. I think, you know, pharma wants to keep you on stuff.
Yeah.
They want to sell you something. So if there's a surefire cure for something, it's not necessarily hailed.
No. Well, and then there's also the problem of the media. The media is lockstep in with these businesses that are promoting these things.
Yes.
And they're not giving you information. They're giving you propaganda before they're giving you information. Propaganda is more important to them than information.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy. It's like, we're counting on you guys, and you fucked us. You fucked us for 4 years with this COVID thing, and now you expect us to listen to you about the fucking swine flu or the bird flu or whatever other thing you're trying to freak us out about, which always coincides with some sort of a political event. Like, here it is, the inauguration of the new president, and oh, look at this. There's a new
What do we got?
disease.
What do we got now? What is it?
Yeah.
Do you think there will be?
Well, there is. There's this fucking swine
H1N1,
flu,
yeah.
H5N1, whatever
I
it is.
thought it was bird flu.
One bird flu. One person died. One person in America, first person died, 65 years old with a bunch of comorbidities,
Yeah, okay.
and which is usually what it is. But
Yeah.
by the way, 65 people with a bunch of comorbidities die all the time of nothing. They die of anything. I mean, this is like a car that's falling apart, and you run over a nail, and oh, the nail killed the car. No, that car was falling the fuck apart.
Yeah.
Like the nail you ran over was the last nail in the coffin, but the thing was falling apart.
I got COVID from my gardener, and he had it first, and then I got it. And I was like, did I grab the hose or what? You know, what was? I don't know. But it was. I knew the guy for 20 years, and we both went to the same hospital, and he died and I didn't.
Jesus.
I think we both got remdesivir, which is not good.
Not good.
Not good.
Causes kidney failure.
I know. I couldn't walk for 3 months after I had that stuff.
Really?
Because it kills you. I found out afterwards it kills you, and that's why I wonder about Fauci. You know?
Oh, you should wonder about that guy. When meanwhile, they were trying to stop people from getting monoclonal antibodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've restricted monoclonal antibodies, which is fucking insane because they wanted to promote that vaccine because they wanted to profit off of it, which brings us back again to evil. Evil's real. It's real. Putting money over human lives is evil.
I agree.
It's a real thing, and there's a temptation to do it too, which is even more crazy.
I don't believe that there is anything that can afflict mankind that hasn't got a natural cure for it. I think that there has to be. It just makes sense to me. Now, I couldn't prove that, but I just believe that.
Yeah.
That there's got to be something that cures.
Can't just believe some shit.
And I'll tell you a good story.
Okay.
I have 3 friends. All 3 of them had stage 4 cancer. All 3 of them don't have cancer right now at all. And they had some serious stuff going on.
And what did they take?
Jesus. They took some, what you've heard they've taken.
Ivermectin and
Fenbendazole.
fenbendazole. Yeah.
That
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm hearing that a lot.
They
There's-
drank hydrochloride something or other.
There's studies on that
There's-
now where people have proven that
People
they've
drinking methylene
yeah.
blue and stuff.
Yeah, methylene blue, which was a fabric dye.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a textile dye. And now they find out it has profound effects on your mitochondria.
Yep.
Yeah.
This stuff works, man.
There's a lot of stuff that does work, which is very strange because, again, it's profit. When you hear about things that are demonized and that turn out to be effective, you always wonder, well, what is going on here? How is our medical institutions, how have they failed us so that things that do cure you are not promoted because they're not profitable? That they can't control it. They don't have a patent on it, whether it's vitamin D, K2, and magnesium,
Yep.
you know,
Well, yeah. I'm doing
zinc
all
and
that- I do all
quercetin.
that stuff.
I do all that stuff.
Did you do the Brecca thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Me too. I lost
I
like
do all
30.
that stuff,
I lost
yeah.
like 30 pounds, right?
It's fantastic.
I was talking to Dana, and he said, "Oh, you know, I was, you know," and I said, "Yeah, I got to do something about this." I'm like, I'm 5'10", 235. You know, that's too fat.
Yeah.
So I had to sort of roll it back some. Now I'm under 200, which is
That's
about-
great.
Should be, you know, and it was that Brecca stuff.
No, Gary's a national treasure.
Yeah.
And
Jump
he
in the
gets
cold
shit
plunge.
on all over the place too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
going to sauna, but I feel better.
Oh yeah. Oh, I do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cold plunge, sauna. I'm ritualistic with it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
it's part of my everyday life.
I hear your cold plunge is like 34 degrees. I don't understand that though. I mean, dude, 34 degrees.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's cold.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, you get accustomed to it. It to me is not.
guess.
I mean, it sucks. Every time I do it, I'm like, don't do it. Don't. There's like the part of me that's like my inner bitch. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, we don't have to do this. We don't have to do this. But luckily, the general is stronger than the inner bitch. The general is always telling, shut the fuck up
He
and
does
get in
that.
there, and I
Okay.
just get in there every day. But
I do like 48, man.
that inner bitch is always talking though. He never shuts up.
No.
Never shuts up. Don't ever think that it, like, even though I do it every day, anybody who's like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how I do it either, but I fucking do it. I make sure I do it. I'm the boss.
Yeah. Do you do the saunas too?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
do the red light bed?
I have a red light bed, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a sauna, red light bed. I have a hyperbaric chamber.
Wow.
I have everything.
Hyperbaric chambers are the
Yeah.
best, man.
It's incredible.
Good
Incredible.
brain work. I got to get back in there. I
Oh.
feel like I got more holes in my head.
It's phenomenal for just overall recovery for everything. And it's also been shown to lengthen telomeres. They did a study out of
yeah?
Israel. Yeah, they gave people a protocol over 90 days. You do 60 sessions of 90 minutes over 90 days.
Yeah.
And it's shown to lengthen telomeres and decrease your biological age.
Okay.
And you just feel fucking great.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, you're flooding your body with oxygen. Most diseases, a lot of them, come from a lack of oxygen. You know, your body not having enough oxygen is very bad for you.
I used to have a Qigong master. This is what kind of blows my mind about medicine and about ancient stuff. This guy was from Shanghai. He didn't speak much English, right? A little bit. His wife would translate for him. And he'd come in and he could like point at you, right, from this far away, and you'd feel it. But like, feel it like as palpable as someone pushing you around. It's like,
Really?
yeah. I'm not kidding. They like
What year
this.
was this when this was happening?
Oh shit! I met him when I was like 40.
Yeah?
He only just passed away.
Damn, too bad. I'd like to meet that guy.
Oh no, there's people like him. There are others
Yeah?
like him. Oh yeah, he's not the only one. He learned it from somebody, and I think he imparted some knowledge. But you know, he would get you, and he could like point at you and stuff like that. And it makes you wonder, like, how did they build the pyramids? You know, I mean, if he can use his mind and kind of get into quantum physics and move shit around with thought and with energy, there's actual energy coming out of his fingers. They could have built the pyramids like that. I don't know. Maybe somebody had that down somewhere. But
Well, I'd like to hear a better explanation.
me too. Well, it was really weird. One time he was working on me, and he was working on my liver. He said, "Your liver's blocked," because he looks at you, and if you look at him, he looks away, and his wife engages you while he checks you out, and then he gives you a little body map, and he puts X's all over it, and you go, "Yeah, that's right. I got a pain here and a thing there," and you know, he knows where everything is. He knows exactly what's going on.
Did you ask him what is he seeing your aura? Like, what is he seeing?
Everything. He sees everything. He was an allopathic doctor first. He went to medical school. He could write your prescription. He could do all that stuff. He was a doctor. And then he saw a Qigong master, this old guy, and people were lining up getting cured, and he thought, that's really interesting. And he learned that on top of being an allopathic doctor. So one day he's at me on my back, and he's pushing, and I can feel my back, and I'm at the wall, and there's a poster of a film on the wall, you know, in my office, and I'm looking at, and I can see him in the background, and he's like down like this, like like kung fu, pointing rays of energy at me, and he hit me. He started yelling at my organ, at my liver, like get out, you know, whatever, and I went up the wall, and there was like 8 inches of air under my heels, and I was up the wall, and I was like, whoa, and I came back down. It freaked me out. And I looked at him, and he just went, he said, don't die. It's just science, like that. I said, just science, okay.
Just science?
Yeah, just science. And I was so freaked out, I went to a priest. I said, is this guy demonic or something? Because he's lifting me off the wall. And the priest was like, he was an old Jesuit, right? A traditional old guy. And he was a cross between Jimmy Stewart and Elmer Fudd, you know. That's the way he sounded. And I said, is this anything like demonic about this guy? Like he says, whoa, did he heal you? like that. And I said, why, yes, he did. And he said, that's all right then. And he says, I have no trouble with something like that because it was within the realm of possibility that somebody had power like that and that it's inexplicable, but that it works. And it did work. He just passed away. He was pretty old.
There was a place that, I bought a comedy club out here, and before the building that we bought was the Ritz Theater on 6th Street, but before that I was under contract to another building, and then this other building was owned by a cult. And this is a crazy story. The cult was awful, horrible. There's a documentary on it. It's called Holy Hell. And this guy who was a gay porn star and a hypnotist. He was a yoga instructor. Got a bunch of people in West Hollywood, and then eventually moved them all out here to Austin. But what this guy was doing, one of the things that he would do to his disciples is he would do a thing called the knowing. And they had to be chosen for it. They had to earn it. And when he would get them and bestow the knowing upon them, he would touch their head, and they would have this incredible experience where they said they contacted God. Now, all these people denounced him eventually. They left the cult. They all said he was a con man and this and that. But they all talked about that experience, and they said it was the most profound experience of their life, that they really do feel like they came in contact with God. And it's like, what can a person, if a person truly believes, and this other person truly believes that they can do this to them, and they have this moment, and something does happen, like, what is that all inside of us? Do people have ways of pulling that out of you that we've lost track of, that we don't know? And even an evil person who's running a cult, manipulating people and exploiting people, still has this thing that he was able to do to them, that even after they've admitted that this guy exploited them, they say that was the most profound moment of their life.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think, there are party tricks that you can get.
Right, but is that party trick, if it really is a pathway to connect you, at least temporarily, with God, that there is a thing inside of us?
Well, that's why I went to the priest, because I thought,
Right.
because I'm off the floor.
Right.
So I thought, I gotta check this out, because this is too weird. And he said, did he hear it? And I said, he did. And he said, that's all right. Because the guy wasn't trying to get me.
Right.
In fact, he never charged me.
Shit. This is
The
what
first
happens
time
when
I
you
went
don't
to
pay the
see
cops.
He charged me.
The dirty bastards raid your
And it was
business.
like, okay.
Save your staff if you
And then
can.
he never charged me again. And he used to call me when I was sick.
Really?
I wouldn't call him. He knew when I was sick. He'd call me. He said, yeah, I need to come see you. I'm like, okay.
So he had like some sort of a direct line with your energy.
Something. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And he could, this is the other thing. He could teach you martial arts, like quickly, without you having to learn to do it. It was a weird thing. He did it firstly with my son, who got him for a couple of weeks, and he said, I'm going to show you something. Went out there and he blindfolded him, and he had these two swords, and he was doing all this, this crazy stuff. I'm like, what? I said, how did he learn that so fast? He said, it was in him. And I'm like, whoa. And then he started to do it, and he taught me how to harness this energy and to actually begin what seemed to be almost like involuntary movement, depending on the hand movement, it would create a style of kata, or self-defense. I used to do a crude martial art, not crude, but like a hard martial art.
What was it?
Kyokushinkai.
Okay, yeah.
Way back.
Kyokushin karate.
Yeah. I think it's Korean.
It's Japanese.
It is?
Yeah.
I can't remember. But it's like, I didn't stick with it. But it was, but he got this whole other approach of breathing, visualizations, that would actually draw energy into your lower chakras. You release the energy and create this kind of movement. And I showed it to a friend who was a martial artist. And I said, tell me about the footwork. And he looked at me and says, that looks pretty good to me. I said, it was kind of like, what's that really soft kind of martial
Tai Chi.
Just like that. I was doing stuff like that. It was crazy. And it was really a great release, but it was about visualization, breath,
Yeah.
and the release of those that energy pent up from all around you, vision, manifesting itself in you.
There's got to be something to all that stuff. People have been practicing Tai Chi for a long time.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be practicing the same movements for all these years if they didn't do something.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It keeps people young. They do it in China. You see,
Mhm.
see people out in Asia, so out there used to
Yeah.
exercise.
Yeah. What do you do now for exercise?
Oh gosh, I'm terrible. I've come off. I'm falling apart. I got dead dogs parts of the shoulder. I got, cadaver parts. This shoulder fell apart. This shoulder fell apart. A hip, a foot. Terrible. Couldn't walk for about a year almost.
Really?
And so when you fall down, that's partially why I had to go to the bracket and get the counterrotative stuff on. But I lift weights and I do some walking, stuff like that, like really get your heart rate up. So I'm trying. Hey, I'm 69 years old, so it's like it's getting to be like 7 decades.
Yeah.
But I want to stay fit if I can. I bang myself up a little too much. And like, stuff starts to give out.
Yep. No, I feel it in my 50s.
Yeah,
How old? 57?
58 is when it started.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's when I first noticed it. It was like, oh, what's going on with this here?
Yeah.
Shoulder. Stuff like that for years. We shot it up with stem cells, and it was good for like 2 years.
You just gotta keep going back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't go back on.
That's the thing. I think it's just your body's just not going to heal the way it did when you were younger unless you consistently get therapy for that.
Yeah. You're in good shape, though.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so I was in reasonable shape at 58. And I think I'm in reasonable shape. But I'm just, it's just trying to push the old man off. And using various methods to do it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Keep the body as young as you possibly can. Yeah, and demand a lot from it. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Just demand a lot to make sure I recover.
I think a lot of it's about meditation, too. You can actually you get into a good headspace, and it cools you out, it stops the stress, even no matter what's going on. You're going to have to do it tonight when I find out whether I saw it.
Yeah. Well, if anything looks demonic, it's the fires in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I remember one time we were filming Fear Factor and we had to drive home. We had to cancel a shoot or end it early and drive home because the fires were hit. And this was like we were off the 5 and driving home for 50 minutes on the highway, the right side of the highway was in flames. Yeah. Like Lord of the Rings, like Sauron's coming over the top. It looked fucking insane. It's biblical. It looks insane.
You got to be careful, too, because you could
Oh, 100%. If you can't breathe, or if the cars in front of you catch fire, and the road goes way, and all the cars catch fire, and you can't get off the road, the right of you's on fire, the left of you's on fire, and the fire's coming up the highway. Oh, yeah, people have died that way. Yep.
Hey, what's up? How can I help? No problem. I'll get him off your back.
And I was making a news, and I was directing the film, so I'm on a line. And I'm like, so, I'll just be hanging here like this. And then the next thing I knew, I was looking up, I was on the floor. And they're all looking at me. What are people doing? Get to work. It was like, and they said, well, you hung yourself. I said, whoa, kidding. It happens in an instant. You don't know. It wasn't painful, nothing. It's just gone. Yeah, choking by the news. And then they grabbed me by the legs. Jesus. You're a brave artist.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
I found out what it was like going to the next realm. But of course, we did. I was fortunate enough to work with Horion Gracie, 39 years old.
Yeah.
He'd just come from Brazil.
Well, I remember when you were doing Lethal Weapon, it was the first time I'd ever seen jiu-jitsu.
A leg choke.
Yeah.
He taught me. Horion taught me the leg choke. He said, "You grab your foot."
Yeah.
And it was cool, but it was. Now my girlfriend does it. And and she's like a purple belt. So
Really? Yeah, I've learned how to do that. She's legit.
yeah, she's legit.
Purple belt's legit. Purple belt is basically a black belt. You just need a little bit more time.
Yep.
If you can get, I always tell all jiu-jitsu students, if you can get to purple belt, you are a black belt. You're going to be a black belt.
Oh, she will.
You just got to stay on that path.
No, she is. She's just obsessed with it. So,
Yeah.
And she's, you know, as I say, I don't talk back to her.
I think the purple belt is the hardest belt to get to.
It is.
Because it's just like, in the beginning, you're just getting crushed.
Mhm.
That's jiu-jitsu, especially for women. It's
Yeah.
so difficult for women because they don't have the physical strength that men have.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of get away with a lot. If you're a big, strong guy, you can get away with a lot of shit. But then by the time you get to purple belt, like, man, you have to have real technique and you have to have a real understanding of what's going on.
She's got a good mind. And I think she's like a chess player.
It is like that.
Because I know from fighting with her. she wins arguments when she's wrong. So
Sometimes you let them win, though, right?
yeah.
It's just like you got to walk away.
Oh yeah. Sometimes it's like
You got to go, okay.
it's my second thought, my first act.
Yes, 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 yeah.
But she got the purple belt.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good for her.
It's good for her.
Yeah.
We on?
Yeah, a woman black belt, that's an unbelievably exceptional woman. They can get to that because they have to roll with men. And it's just a
Well, she does.
significant disadvantage.
Big dudes and stuff.
Mhm.
And she's like, you know,
Yeah.
she's done some exceptional things I've heard. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't follow it up.
You can still do it.
No, I'm a more baseball diamond guy kind of guy. I'm in trouble.
Well, you be careful with that in California.
Yeah.
You wind up being in jail.
That's true.
You wind up using it to protect yourself and they'll lock you up.
Yes, it's
Which is also
yeah, that happens.
yeah.
Oh. There's a perverse nature in our society.
And when you look at your life now and you're on your third act, as you're saying, like what do you look forward to these days? Is it creating things?
It's
Is it-
creation.
Yeah.
I think it is. It's about creation. And I figure I'm pretty average at most things, but I'm good at a couple. I know how to tell a story. I know how to do that. I don't know. That's a weird place to be, but I think a lot can be achieved by art and image, and you could convey it without actually having to say it. To affect people emotionally or spiritually, even without being overt. I always like the reference of just a shot that, and it's in a Ridley Scott, and you don't know why it works, or why it's effective on somebody, but it's kind of a profound, effective shot. And it's that first shot in the Gladiator movie where he's running his hand over the wound, right? That music. Why does that work? I don't know. You can't explain it, but it works.
Oh, Ridley Scott is a master.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a vision being.
He knows how to shoot.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. It's a valid pursuit. Every time he goes out there, it's a feast for the audience.
Do you have different goals with like different projects? Like obviously Flight Risk is entertainment.
Yes.
Fun. It's
Sure,
entertaining.
yeah. And yes, different. And it was the other thing too is it's like we're living in a different time. Everything's upside down, and you have to compete in a medium where you have less time, less money. Do it fast. Do it now. And it's like, wow, can I do that? I always had the luxury of like, big budget, 3,000 people on horses, you know, and was able to take my time with stuff. But I had 22 days. And here you got to tell the story. So I felt the challenge of being able to do that and being able to make something that really got people like they could watch it and enjoy it. And I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad you did. And that's all. Just want people to have a nice little ride, fun ride, entertainment. But yes, you have different goals here. I mean, the next one is more profound. It's going to take more effort.
This is the resurrection story.
Yeah. And I even had to change my life to do it.
How so?
You can't go into a project as profound in nature as that without somehow preparing yourself for it. It's like preparing for a fight.
Right.
Like you have to be fit for the fight. And yes, so you have to spiritually prepare yourself. And that's going to take some sacrifice. And because, well, I profess this and I profess that. I'm not a great example of Christianity. I'm just, I'm flawed. And I make a lot of mistakes. But I have to try and be better in order to go and make that change. What does that mean? I think I know what it means.
Well, one of the things that I thought was fascinating was reading and listening to Jim Caviezel talk about his experience playing Christ in the film. That just truly changed that the course of his whole life.
Well, it was fascinating to watch him live, actually. And most of the time, I just liked that because he was doing something that, and I've seen a lot of people portray Jesus in the film, and I never bought it. You can't quite buy it. Something creeps in the color of the night. Something's not right or discordant. And some of them are pretty good, but you never quite believe it.
What was the Willem Dafoe movie?
That was a Scorsese.
Right. What was that called?
The Last.
That's right.
Which, interesting, I was in a hotel in the Savoy and I had food poisoning. I was nearly dead completely. They ate bad oysters. And I was dying in a hotel room. And I couldn't even leave. It was the worst. I think it was like salmonella or something. And I saw this cord on the side of the bed. Pulled it. And all of a sudden, a door opened up and a button. Jeez. It was just a whoa. I said, I'm really sick. I said, what do you think I should eat? My guy suggests warm consomme and a cup of tea. I said, okay. So this butler took care of me in this hotel. But while I was there, Scorsese called me. He says, get out of my car. So I go in and talk to Martin. And he's in his room with all the windows, screens are going. He's got 18 different TVs going on at the same time in this dark room. And he's talking to me about the Last Temptation of Christ and to play Jesus. And I said, whoa, I'm not doing that. And I sort of got out of there. And then I went back to my room and they changed my room. This is really, they had changed my room and moved my stuff. And they told me they were going to do it. So I'm using the key to get into my room. It won't work. And the door opened up all of a sudden. It's Keith Richards and this underman standing there. Like, and there's a girl in a mink coat walking around it. Mink coat and nothing else walking in the background. And Keith Richards standing there in his underpants with a spliff. And I'm like, I tried to explain that I thought it was my room, but it wasn't. And, it was ridiculous. I'm 26 years old. And he just looks at me like, shuts the door in my face. I thought, well, that was my meeting with Keith Richards. He slammed the door in my face. So fantastic. Anyway, but what were we doing? He did something I think nobody else did. And I think he pulled it off. Because I totally believed it.
I believe it too.
And it was like, what did he do? He emptied himself out.
Yeah.
And he invited something up. And he left it. He didn't try anything. He emptied himself out and meditated. And he let Christ do it.
And that role seemed to have had a profound effect on him as a human being.
Oh, absolutely.
And kind of fucked him up in his career a little bit. Because people associated him entirely with that film, and then they associated him with Christianity, and then they associated him with right-wing politics, and yeah.
And then, he got sidetracked by a few guys. I mean, there's some people, they get in your ear. Cashes.
Right.
And they get you up to make a speech somewhere.
Right.
Like throwing eggs at them.
Yeah.
And you wonder, maybe saying that I'm So he stepped on it. So, yeah, he did have a profound effect on me. But I think he was already mostly there anyway. And I noticed that when I was trying to cast it, I thought, who could play this? And I saw the opening shot from Terry Malick's film, which was a thin red line. And it was just a big close-up of Jesus. And there was something otherworldly and childlike going on in the close-up. And I thought, who's acting? He's amazing. Of course, you couldn't keep the blue lines. You had to trade it out. So I changed the color of his eyes to brown. You know, that's the sort of
Right.
But amazing what he already had the quality, an ethereal, otherworldly space cadet quality.
Yeah.
And he's spectacular.
Yeah, he's. I wish I had met him, or I haven't met him still, but I wish I'd seen him before and then after. You know, to see like what did that role change him? Because it seemed to have strengthened his faith.
Sure, it did. Yeah. He got a year Bible, and I think he had some experiences. He suffered. And didn't get struck by lightning once, 2 times in the sky. And there was this guy with him. He was a young fellow, one of the assistants on the film. His name was Jan. And old Jan was like, he's a 6'2", Italian, northern Italian guy, you know. If he tripped in the street, women would slide on him, you know. It was kind of trying to stop. The guy was like a baby. And I think he was taking full advantage of the gifts he had. But he got hit by lightning first. We were out on the field with the lightning storm. And this guy called Jay, who was a grip, he never spoke a word the whole time. He was just quiet. And I figured, oh, he was no English. But he came up to me in perfect English. He said, you know, I think we should get all the people off the hill. We could be struck by lightning. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea. Let's get off the hill. So we're moving off the hill. Everybody's getting off. And this kid gets hit through the umbrella. This Jan guy. He gets zapped by lightning, right? But he's 22, and he goes to the disco. You know, he's doing the whole, 22 experience. And he comes back and he says, yeah, it's great. And then he was with Jim the second time. But this time, he found him in a theater down with his knees up around his ears, waiting for the third stroke. He was like, this just doesn't happen. It's like, and he says, I have to change it. So, it was pretty
Filming
fun.
that movie must have had a profound effect on a lot of people.
It did, yeah.
Because you were doing something that wasn't just a film. It was
Verite.
Yeah. And it was strengthening people's faith. That film was a profound success. And a lot of people dismissed the idea of it.
Yeah.
You know, especially in Hollywood. I mean, you had to self-fund on that, right?
Yes, it was self-funded, and it was a very strange experience. That because I had the money, and I thought, well, maybe I'll take it. And it was, then I got these messages that all the majors wouldn't distribute it. I thought, nobody had distributed it. Okay, I guess I lost the money, but it was worth the experience. And so one guy was like, Gus said, some guy, I'll distribute it. And he had a little called Vermont, and they distributed like 1 or 2 films before. And there was a Charlize Theron movie called The Monster, the horror series.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, I'll do it. And, it was just really basic. I mean, I met the exhibitor. And this guy was a distributor. This little company was just him and a toothless dog and a box and an assistant. What type of smoking mirror this was between distribution and exhibition? And I met Henshin with all the exhibitors. And it went. Nobody expected it to change, but it did phenomenally. And there was this kind of thing. Anyone to see that? Anyone to see what that guy did? And we don't want any of it. Because it sort of walked around and listened
Yeah.
and school.
Right, so there was two things. There was resistance to the Christianity aspect of it, the emotion of Christianity, and then there was resistance to the fact that you were outside the system.
It was outside. Well, I had no alternative.
Right.
Because no major was back.
Because of Christianity.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ruber, he wanted to, and then he said, nah. And then somebody advised him and said he'd be out of business in 5 years.
Cryptocurrency received, so
In 5
I guess
years,
we
if
have
he
a sale.
distributed it, if he-
Transferring
yeah. And I
now.
was like, wow, if he's
Long John over.
I'm like, I'm gonna crash and burn here. But it actually,
It did phenomenal.
yeah. And then again, I tried to. Then I went with the studio on Apocalypto, but and that didn't work out so well.
It didn't? In what way?
Well, it was interesting. The film was a film with, it had no stars. It was in another, and it came out of the weekend with another film that had Leo, and another film that had Cameron. And so those three films were produced in the weekend, and the one with no stars and without the language won the weekend monetarily, won the box office by a narrow margin on the other two. And the second weekend, Disney pulled the screens.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess there's another agenda, because that was another subject.
Did they pull the screens because they had movies that they had already made deals with?
I think so. But, it's just politics, and I think perhaps the distribution deal on that wasn't as good as
Right.
something else. So it's all business.
It's a phenomenal movie.
It's a great film, and it did better afterwards.
In DVD and streaming and all that. Yeah. I watched it again. I hadn't seen it in a while. I watched it again. I forgot a bunch of aspects of it. Damn.
And I think I love primitive stuff, and primal emotion. I mean, basically, it's a guy just trying to get back home to save his wife and kid, and he's got a lot of obstacles in the way. Jaguars and bad guys chasing him, trying to skin him. That rip is hard.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And I sat in the room. So we found out what mine and news and Columbus and all that, and then we just started making the story in the room. And we wrote it. And some assistant, he actually wrote it. He actually tagged it. Crazy.
So when you're making this resurrection movie now, you also have this obligation. There's this. You're doing a very similar thing that you were doing with the Passion of Christ, where this is a profound story.
Yep.
When you put something like that together, how do you choose who's going to be the next Jesus? Could be.
It's 20 years later. It's 20 years later.
Yeah, but it's the right guy.
It's supposed to be 3 days later, but he got 20 years old. And I have to use a few techniques that they've
The CGI, yeah, they can do amazing things now.
You can see,
Yeah.
get some of the same.
And by the time you film it, it'll be even better.
Yeah.
When are you going to start filming it?
I'm hoping next year sometime. There's a lot required because it is, I'll just tell you this, it's an acid trip. It is like, I've never read it. And my brother and Randall all sort of congregated. So there's some good heads put together, but there's some crazy stuff. And I think in order to really tell the story properly, you have to start with the fall of the angels.
Yeah.
Because you're in another place. You're in another realm. You need to go to heaven. You need to go to Sheol.
So you're going to have hell, you're going to have Satan, all that?
Whoa. Sure, you gotta,
Right.
you gotta have his origin.
How do you depict that?
This is a good question. And I think I have ideas about how to do that, and ideas about how to evoke.
You calling for some wheels? I'm Johnny on the spot. I'll hook you up.
And the way you shoot it. So I've been thinking about it for a long time. So it's not going to be easy, and it's going to require a lot of planning.
It's on the way.
And I'm not wholly sure I can pull it off, to tell you the truth. It's really super ambitious. But I'll take a crack at it. Because that's what you got to do, right? Walk up to the plate, right? So I think I can get it. But it's not about me.
Right.
It's about something else.
Well,
So-
if anybody can do it.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
It's trying to find the way in that's not that cheesy or obvious, but that actually this diversion, this obfuscate this, show that. Look over here, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Do you have a title?
yeah, it's just like the resurrection of the Christ. It's like so that's a title. And yeah, it's very, that's all I'll say. It just took a long time to write. It's really ambitious. It goes from the fall of the angels to the death of the last apostle.
Do you have a start date?
I don't have a start date. I just have to begin pre-production and see what happens. And it's just going to roll.
So, there's a
in
solid
its own
chance the
time.
whole...
It's taking its own time. I thought it was late. I thought, it's taking too long. It's taking too long. Just right. It's when it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, if you believe that, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I hope you're right.
I think my instincts are that I'm right.
Yeah.
And if I was going to trust anybody with that story, it would be you.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a massive, and theologically, it's something that you have to really look at and make correlations that ring true. Because it's not all written.
Do you consult with someone, like a biblical scholar?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. And of course, there's your own thing that comes into it from having read the book a few times. You read the book a few times, and it's amazing how your memory, how there's these recessive files somewhere in the background, how you can correlate this piece to that piece over there. And that's important because juxtaposition is everything in this story. And what it means in a bigger picture.
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain, but it's quite involved.
Yeah, well, I can only imagine.
Yeah. And I don't know that you can do it in a foreign language because the concepts are too difficult now. So you may have to resort to the vernacular. So that, that at least is clear.
Is that up for debate right now with you?
Yeah, it is. I'm thinking, But look, have you seen these apps now where they have this AI stuff where the guy's talking German and then he switches to French and then to Spanish and then Chinese?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
And it's powerful. It's the same.
Right.
Crazy. So
So you're going to use that kind of a tool, you think?
you could.
Will you begin it in Aramaic or in Hebrew?
Maybe. Aramaic is really particular. But I think I've written it in English. But I wrote the last one and translated it. But then people speak it because I think there's only about 400 people that actually speak it. Wow. And apparently they understood it, so I was happy about it.
Wow.
400,000 people.
Oh, that makes more sense. I'd like to preserve those 400 people.
Not many people speak that. But that's quite.
Well, I can't wait to see it, man. And I just want to say I appreciate you very much. All the stuff you've done. You've made some really awesome pieces in your life. You really have. Thanks. That's some great stuff.
Yeah. I'm blown away by it. where you got to, which is like, didn't you start off just smoking a spliff on the couch with a guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how it happened.
No, that's good.
I just kind of kept doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Thank you.
I watch it all the time.
Thank you. There was no plan to it. I'll tell you that.
No.
There still kind of isn't. I still kind of do it the same way.
Yeah, okay. Every day you wake up.
Yeah, I just look at my phone. I go online. I say, who do I want to talk to?
Yeah.
This guy might be interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
That's really it.
You get some pretty interesting people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was amazed at that. I can't remember his name now. Terrence. He's all into.
Terrence Howard?
Yeah.
Yeah, the actor? Yeah. Brilliant guy.
Had a bunch of stuff going on. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Oh, he's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out there. But I mean, you have to be to be one of those guys.
You do.
But listen, brother, thank you very much for everything. Appreciate you coming in here.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Your new movie's great, and all your stuff's great. I'm a big fan. So
Yeah, tickets on sale today.
yeah. When does it come out?
Oh, God, on the
25th?
24th, 25th. Yeah,
Yeah.
24th, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So soon.
Yeah. It's fun.
It is fun. I enjoy it.
I was looking at the map this
Thank you
morning and
very
thought,
much.
yo,
Bye,
we're
everybody.
gonna need sonar to find that sub. The ocean is huge. And then I heard about this warehouse that just got a huge shipment in of some top-of-the-line radar shit. If you bring a couple of things back, we'll install something on the submersible that can bypass the sub's radar jamming equipment.
All right, y'all, welcome to the show. So in just a second, Trump is threatening Palestinians in a grotesque rant. I'll play that for you. I find it kind of incredible because is he unaware of the hell that Palestinians in Gaza are currently living through? Like what, you think some harsh words are gonna break them? They're already undergoing a genocide. I love the idea that you can threaten somebody that when they've already had their mom's been killed, their sister's been killed, their dad's been killed, their nephew's been killed, they don't have a house anymore, they eat one meal a day, if that. Like, anyway, don't even get me started. So we'll talk about that. We also have Biden trolls Trump on his way out the door with a special gift. Can't wait to give you that. Mehdi Hassan absolutely eviscerates a MAGA hack, and he brings the receipts. We have former NBA star Dwight Howard. He said something really interesting on a podcast the other day. He once tweeted "Free Palestine," and he gave us a little peek behind the curtain into the backlash he faced from the NBA when he did that. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll also have a little fun later on. Doctors are warning patients of a little thing called winter penis. What is winter penis? Well, you're going to have to stick around and find out. All right, so we'll dive into it in a second. Everybody do me a big favor. Please subscribe to the channel. That helps out massively. Costs you absolutely nothing. And thank you to everybody who supports this show on Patreon or tips on YouTube. It means the world. Couldn't do it without you guys. Remember, we're real independent media. This is not fake independent media. I've never talked to an advertiser or a corporation or a billionaire or a foreign government. You guys fund this show from the ground up, and we have the default ads on YouTube. We're one of very few shows that actually tries to fund it in a clean way with zero malice. Again, thank you very much for supporting the show. All right, let's dive into it. So, as you all know, Trump had an insane press conference at Mar-a-Lago the other day. This was the press conference where he said, let's call it the Gulf of America instead of the Gulf of Mexico. This is the press conference where he threatened Denmark with violence, with economic coercion and military coercion. He wants to steal Greenland. He wants to take the Panama Canal, and he's threatening Canada. I love the idea we went from MAGA is anti-war to MAGA wants to do 1500 style imperialism like this. Like that, and everybody in MAGA is going right along with Trump. I mean, total cult. I mean, it is. It's just a cult. We went through a bunch of moments in that press conference, but here's one specifically on the issue of Israel and Palestine. Let's take a look, and we'll break it down as we go.
That all hell must be paid if they don't release the hostages.
What? Do I have to define it for you? All hell will break out. If those hostages aren't back, I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone.
I love we're anti-war, bro. I don't do wars, bro. I pull out of wars, bro. I don't start wars, bro. All hell will break out in the Middle East unless all the hostages are returned. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means you're going to start bombing more, right? It means you're going to have the U.S. directly involved instead of Israel doing it alone, right? Is that what you mean? Now, by the way, what are the chances Trump knows that within like 2 weeks of October 7th, there was already a deal on the table for Hamas to turn over every hostage? A lot of people don't know that. Why? Because they don't follow the ins and outs of it. They don't care about the details of it. Trump's pretending like there hasn't been a number of deals on the table to release every single hostage. You know who's been rejecting those deals? I'll give you one wild guess. Who's been rejecting all those deals? Oh, that's right. It's Netanyahu. It's Israel. So here you better give up those hostages. Better give them up. Better give them up. And it's like, there's been a number of deals on the table to give up every single hostage, and Israel keeps saying no. Why? Because Israel is prioritizing a genocide over bringing the hostages home.
All hell broke out. I don't have to say it anymore, but that's what it is. And they should have given them back. They should have never taken. There should have never been the attack of October 7th. People forget that. But there was. And many people are killed. They're no longer hostages. I have people from Israel and others calling, begging me to get, we had also people there from the United States, just so you know. They're holding some so-called hostages from the U.S. But I've had mothers come to me and fathers crying, can I get the body of their son back? Can I get the body of their daughter back? That beautiful girl where they threw her in the car, pulled her by her ponytail and threw her in the car like she was a sack of potatoes. I said, what happened to her? Sir, she's dead. Like a 19, 20-year-old beautiful girl. And the way they treated her. And I just say it this very simply. Steve's got a job to do. He's a great guy, great negotiator, great person. They respect him over there already. It's what we need over there. You have people that know everything about the Middle East, but they can't speak properly. They don't know. He's a great negotiator. That's what I needed. I could have sent that gentleman right over there, Hussein. He's a great negotiator. There are people, they're rare. Great negotiators are very rare, like a great surgeon. But we have the right person. But I tell this, I don't want to hurt the negotiation. If the deal isn't done before I take office, which is now going to be 2 weeks, all hell will break out.
So I need you to stop and think about what that means, right? Because it's been Israel that's been rejecting the deals over and over and over. And so if Israel doesn't accept one of the Hamas deals to turn over the hostages, which they don't want to do because they prioritize the genocide, Trump is playing right into Netanyahu's hands. Netanyahu is playing Trump like a fiddle. Because Netanyahu would love nothing more than Donald Trump and the U.S. military to also get directly involved in the genocide. And I'm not just talking about sending money and sending weapons. I'm talking about let's have U.S. planes carpet bombing apartment buildings, or the 3 of them that remain in Gaza. So here he thinks he's being Mr. Big Bad Tough Guy, laying down the law, telling you like it is. In reality, he's being Mr. Big Bad Idiot, being played for a fool by Netanyahu, who wants Trump and the U.S. military to do his dirty work for him. And so, does Trump have any idea that it's Israel that's been rejecting deals over and over and over again? I also love, look at the emotional story detail about one of the hostages and about Hamas killing some innocent person. He has no problem telling a story that's gut-wrenching from that perspective. Has he said a single fucking word about any of the way more atrocious stories quantitatively on the Palestinian side? Has he said anything about every hospital in Gaza being bombed, or every school being bombed, every university being bombed? Has he said anything about the World Central Kitchen aid workers being murdered? Has he said anything about the fact that there's no anesthesia in Gaza and kids have to get their arm or their leg amputated with no medicine to help them along the process? Has he said anything about the concentration camps that have popped up in Gaza, or excuse me, in Israel, where they are raping Palestinians to death with a metal rod, and it's literally on video? Has he said anything about the various Israeli government officials who they can't go a day without sounding like Adolf Hitler, where they're talking about final solutions and getting rid of every Palestinian, etc.? This is the problem, right? This is the problem. And we've talked about this from the perspective of the media. There was that analysis that came out which showed that all the emotive language is used for Israeli civilian victims. Or it doesn't even need to be civilians, just Israeli victims, even if it's IDF people. It's all like, oh my God, it's a slaughter, it's terrorism, it's brutal, etc. That's what they say when it's Israeli victims. When it's Palestinian victims, all the language is passive. They get seeped of all their humanity, even if it's a 7-year-old girl. Seeped them all their... A blast went off, allegedly hurting Palestinians. A blast, as if the blast has agency and did it on its own. This is what we're up against, right? This is what we're up against. We're up against a media system and a political system that systematically and routinely dehumanizes all Palestinians and treats them as not only not equal, they treat them as not human. They treat them as if they don't count in any way, shape, or form. And this blowhard is bloviating on this issue, pretending like it's Hamas that's in the way of a deal, when it's not. It's always been Israel that's in the way of a deal. Why? Because Israel, look, let's call it what it is. They don't care that much about the hostages. They don't. They just don't. They've had so many instances where they could have prioritized the hostages, and they just didn't. And what do they do instead? They're prioritizing the genocide. They're prioritizing carpet bombing innocent women and children, attacking aid workers, starving all of North Gaza, making it so that disease and famine breaks out. You have, the other day we learned 7 babies died of just the freezing cold. It was 50 some odd degrees there, and you got these little babies, they couldn't keep them warm, they ended up dying. Trump doesn't care about any of that. Doesn't say anything about any of that. And in fact, what he's doing is he's playing right into Netanyahu's hand. He goes, oh, the hostages aren't released. Oh, they're not, all hell will break loose. In other words, I'll give Israel more money, I'll give them more weapons, I'll green light whatever the fuck they want to do to you. And we may even have the U.S. come in and assist with the bombing. And by the way, remember, Trump took $100 million from Miriam Adelson, and the quid pro quo is you have to let Israel fully annex the West Bank now. Not just the Golan Heights like he did last time, not just Gaza, they're on the verge of resettling Gaza, as we all know. Also now the West Bank. They're going to do to the West Bank what they're doing now to Gaza. That's what's going to happen. He's going to facilitate it every single step of the way, and he's making that super clear.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. When you want to.
Here they actually implemented New York congestion pricing, and apparently so far the results are looking pretty okay. So for those of you who don't know, a car is basically unusable in New York City because of the permanent traffic, which is why everyone walks or takes the metro. And that can be an issue. Like, you do want cars to work sometimes. Basically, they said, what if we made it cost money to use your car? And so they did. It's a disaster, actually. Well, I've heard otherwise. At the very least, it seemed to have pulled people off the road. Look at that. This is like unthinkable in New York City. Noise? Noise. Let's try to learn some details. I'm no expert. Hopefully public transit isn't getting overloaded. It's the New York City Metro. I'm sure they can handle themselves. That's how they get you when you're old? Yeah, I guess so. This looks heavily narrativized. At the most basic level, the toll to drive into the area of Manhattan below 60th Street is a peak period from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday, and 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday to Sunday. The remaining hours are considered the overnight period. Now let's go over the current costs. Keep in mind that all the fees below will rise 33% in 2028, then another 25% in 2031. Yeesh. Regular passenger vehicles, $9 during peak, $2.25 off-peak. One charge per day, no matter how many times you leave or return. Small trucks and charter buses, more. Trailer tractors, more. Tour buses, more. Motorcycles, less. Yellow or green cab passengers, 75 cents per trip. Very cheap on the cabs. Uber Lyft passengers, $1.50 per trip. So basically, they're trying to keep down the number of people going into Manhattan for stupid bullshit and increase the amount that people can get in on commuter buses or cabs or via, you know, taxis or Uber or whatever. Yeah, prices are going to go up over time. How is it tracked? Is there a toll booth? Oh, they just do magic. They track it to your license plate, I assume. They do that for a lot of toll roads these days. They don't have to stop you anymore. Is public transit free in New York? No, it's not. If only. This is the plan for 15-minute cities. I think it's great, personally. I think it's fantastic. It's a way of making New York City more livable. If you enshrine something like this, over time you have the ability, you take a lot of weight off the roads, you can pedestrianize some areas better, open things up a little bit more to like people who live there. You always have to remember this for tourist destinations, that it doesn't exist only as a tourist destination. It's a place where people live. In Manhattan's case, millions of people in New Jersey tried to sue as the public transit there. Well, of course, New Jersey wants to sue because they want people to be able to go live in New Jersey, then drive into Manhattan, then drive back out every day. It has to go both ways. I did see this one unfortunate soul who's placed like right at he's on 61st, and it starts at 60th. So like, whenever he wants to leave his house, he gets hit with the toll. Pretty unfortunate.
Starting today, the congestion pricing is going into effect. $9 each day that you pass 60th Street. And while I disagree with it for many reasons, for me in particular, it really hits home because I live right here on 61st Street in this building, and my car is right there, parked in front of my building. And if I want to go to turn around to go uptown to visit my kids who live on 79th Street, I have to pay $9 to go around the block.
This money will go nowhere except the MTA's head's pockets. I don't care where the money goes. I care about reducing the number of drivers. That's what I care about. But this one's got a real weird like you've all seen. Everyone in the world has seen what traffic looks like in Manhattan, right? Manhattan isn't just like a city. Manhattan is like a global cultural epicenter. It's New York City. It's Manhattan. It's one of the like capital C cities alongside like Mexico City, Tokyo, you know, Paris, London. It's New York City. So yeah, I want there to be, it shouldn't be like 24/7 bumper to bumper traffic. I used to think it was the capital of the whole world when I was a kid. It kind of is. Call me a chauvinist if you want, it kind of is. Do you have any idea how much of a cultural export you get out of New York City?
Because this is a one-way street.
Yeah, the UN is there. True.
And that's a one-way street, and there's no way for me to get uptown without going around the block and paying $9.
It is unfortunate placement-wise that he's right on the edge of it, but yeah, he could also walk.
Figure you want to hear some details about our friend.
I want to see. I want to look at this. This is like a big urbanist step forward. I'm big on this. Like I'm up for this. You know, I want to learn a little.
Meanwhile, across the river, strong opposition against congestion pricing.
Yeah, leaders there have been saying for months they're worried this will lead to more traffic, but also make a major impact to the environment. Now that we're almost a full day in, what do New Jersey drivers have to say tonight?
Well, okay, what about? Wait, why are we prioritizing New Jersey drivers when it's a policy in Manhattan? Like this is like, oh, something changed downtown. Let's ask a bunch of suburbanites who drive 25 minutes there every weekend how they feel about it. Fuck it, people live there.
Live in Fort Lee with more Kendall.
Hey, good evening, Bianca and Richard. Jersey officials have been trying to fight this congestion toll tooth and nail to no avail. Now that it's in place, they're livid.
And I want to be clear on this. Whether it's today, tomorrow, with the new administration, or through legislation that we plan to introduce, bipartisan legislation, let me be clear in New York. We'll never stop fighting this congestion tax. Never.
That was Jersey Congressman Josh Gottheimer, who during a press conference this afternoon labeled the toll that just took effect nothing but a cash grab by the MTA, who was discounting what it would now cost both commuters and the environment. He demanded a plan from the MTA to mitigate the effects of what he called the cancer-causing pollution that will be inflicted on Jersey residents, since traffic will be redirected by many trying to avoid that tax. The congestion toll tax on...
The idea, the cynicism of like, oh, the reason we want to be able to drive our cars for free into Manhattan and clog up their roads is because we care about the environment, because the alternative would be for us to drive in our state.
$9 for drivers who enter the city's congestion zone beneath 60th Street, and it coincides with today's Port Authority toll hike, where now Easy Pass drivers will pay 68 cents more to cross Port Authority bridges and tunnels, while peak tolls will be at $16.06. Though drivers using Lincoln and Holland tunnels will get a $3 credit, capping their toll at $22.06. Now, Gottheimer noted that it's expensive already to take the GW Bridge and the Holland and Lincoln tunnels, and we spoke to several drivers here in New Jersey who agree.
A lot of New Jersey residents work in New York City, if not just tourism. Okay, I'd be willing to bet for the people clogging up. If you work in New York City and live in New Jersey, like, I understand this, I'd be willing to bet a lot of the traffic bloating New York City is people who are there for tourism. I mean, it's New York City, you know? And they've got to have a subway line.
Tell us they wish the plan would have been nixed altogether.
It's going to hurt us as Uber drivers if say we're going 10 times into New York City, we're going to have to pay that 10 times.
We're with Murphy,
Well, you would pass it on presumably to the rider.
who's suing New York. We hope it gets appealed. And a lot of people who work and go into New York for things, doctors, work, can't afford an extra $9.
I don't think that we, as commuters, should be the ones to have to pay for it.
I think commuters should pay for everything. Actually, I think that we should be less fair to commuters, just generally speaking, as a class of people.
Especially coming from out of the city, we don't use the subway.
Well, then maybe you should use it. Can't you find like a park and ride that would take you in? I'm sorry, it's New York City. How do you think this works? I mean, we literally just went over how it works right here. You ain't commuting, dude. That's true. Because I'm not a fascist. Commuters destroy cities. I'm sorry, but it's true. The entire project of like, you have an interesting downtown area where everything good happens, that then gets bombarded with people from the suburbs or the exurbs or people in the adjacent town or whatever. Like this shit destroys cities every time, you know? I will always stand in defense of like a city kind of protecting its own space. Commuting's also by public transport, technically. Well, yes, if you're commuting by train, we're talking about carpooling. Also, New York City is literally the most metro-friendly part of America. Like, New York City has the best metro connections in the entire country, possibly in the entire continent. Look at the rail connection map. Oh, what the hell did I just... Oh, there's a second image. How do I zoom in? How do I... Oh, it's just a massive image. I thought it was showing me a different image. Okay. Oh, all right. I'm sorry, I'm not a New York, veteran. I don't think I'll be able to navigate this map very well. Can I, can we zoom out a little bit? Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm a West Coastoid. They got a lot of metro. Okay, hold on. Give me... I'm so lost. Where's Manhattan? Let's start with that, okay? There's Hoboken. Oh, I can't... Okay, so here. Am I correct in assuming then that this giant line of metro lines here running in, this is the connection? Okay, that seems like a lot of ways to get there. There's gotta be parking rides, man. No, that's Newark? Okay, but like spreading out from there. I don't know where that doctor was exactly. The path line? Why I'd kill for that many trains? Yeah, it's pretty cool. God damn, man. It's connected on the other shore too? Yeah, with less lines. There's not even close to enough trains/buses for this idea to work. Why are you so anti-congestion? Holy! Nopers, Vosh, it's a disaster actually. Vosh, the problem is for commuters into the city. The problem is that it's affecting people who don't live in New York City. Well, I hate those people. They won't be able to. Buses and trains are already crowded. Tourists don't drive ever. This money will go to no works at the MTA. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Please come to New York for European vacations. I actually am going to New York soon. I'm going there, having a vacation there to celebrate anniversary with my beautiful partner. The drivers come from people from Manhattan. Don't drive. This fucking guy, Vashnavi, free going from New Jersey. This guy, you're from New Jersey! I've been watching The Sopranos. I can identify you now by your idiosyncrasies. You're a Jerseyite. You're right there across the river. You're walking here. I'm not even close enough train/buses to get to work right now. I guess I'm just okay with I mean, we'll see, won't we? If traffic goes down and the city continues to function, then isn't that enough? Like, wouldn't that be the test? Like, what if it turns out that just by cutting like 1% of the people who go to New York City every day, you clear up the roads and make them usable? Wouldn't that be a good showing? Oh, I guess we'll see. I just want there to be fewer cars. And when I go to New York, I'm going to be walking. I mean, I'll go to New York. I'll walk around. I'm not going to be driving, that's for sure. I just think cities should be designed so that the people who live there work there. And you don't have people with the 50-minute commutes. I think that's like a policy failure. New Jersey enjoys being subsidized by New York City because New Jersey is all suburbs. That's always the impression that I've gotten, that a lot of New Jersey near Manhattan is just like the city, continued, except without anywhere near the culture. So they come into the I'm not saying New Jersey has nothing going on. It definitely does. But, like, right next to New York City, how do you do that when rent is insane in the city and even 30 minutes out of the city? Well, that's like an equilibrium that needs to be balanced. But that's like the policy failure that has to be addressed, right? That's not happening in a vacuum. There's like, a breaking point to that. But you have to reach that point rather than just subsidizing it with like an infinite commuter. Like commuter 50 minutes, 120 minutes, 200-minute drive to work, you know? There's a reason that the old joke is you're from New Jersey, which exit. Oh, we'll see how it goes. We haven't even watched the damn videos. I found multiple videos.
The free rides are over in one of the busiest parts of Manhattan. That's because congestion pricing is now in effect.
Yeah, basically, drivers going below 60th Street will have to pay a toll, but opponents say they're not giving up their fight to stop the new tolls. Eyewitness News reporter Lindsay Tuckman joins us live.
What will the changes for the locals look like? Less cars clogging up the road, ideally. Well, Valeronia, if driving in Manhattan is more expensive, presumably that would lead to fewer drivers, because people wouldn't drive for erroneous shit. Like, this is just an induced demand or induced lack of demand. If you make it cost more to drive, more people are going to be willing to take the train or a bus or whatever, which is good, right? People are going to drive if driving is the most inconvenient option, the most convenient option, so you have to make it a less convenient option.
Upper West Side with the very latest. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Pedro and Tony. After many, many delays and multiple lawsuits that raise the question of if it would even happen at all, it is official today. New York City joins other cities like London, Stockholm, and Singapore with implementing a congestion pricing toll in the busiest parts of the city. And you can see behind me here those gantries. They will be scanning your Easy Pass or your license plate to make sure that you get charged. So here's what you need to know if you are a driver moving forward. This is the Manhattan Central Business District that we are standing right in front of right now, which means anywhere below 60th Street across Manhattan. It does not.
New Jerseyites are going to be swimming. They're going to be swimming across the river to avoid the gantries. It's the only way.
Standing right in
this
front
is
of
the LSPD's fault. They told us you were coming.
Manhattan.
I know it's easy to be mad at my family on account of us trying to kill you and all, but we ain't so bad. We just do a lot of mess. Plus, the cops that sold you out, go get them.
And Saturday through Sunday starting at 9 a.m. If you don't have an Easy Pass, it'll cost you a little bit more. And the off-peak hours are just $2.25, which is less than one swipe of the Metro card. You also get a crossing credit for cars that are entering those downtown tunnels that already are tolled. Now, the MTA officially revealed the last sign yesterday, the last warning sign for drivers as they are entering the Central Business District. The toll is expected to reduce traffic by approximately 80,000 fewer vehicles a day.
That's not nothing.
Less congestion and better air quality, but also to generate money by tolls to provide $15 billion toward MTA capital projects to improve safety and the technology used our underground subway system. Now, transit advocates have been supporting this program across the board for the most part, but many are still against the plan, including politicians on Staten Island or in New Jersey who worry it will all just move traffic into their areas.
It is wild that, like, people in New Jersey have the right, like, suing? It's New York City. It's their city. What do you mean you're suing over it? What possible legal argument could you construct?
Heard from New Yorkers who are for and against the toll.
Canoe across the Hudson to save.
Preempted my
Off-peak hours for congestion pricing are really not accommodating to anyone.
I've long been saying we cannot drive our way out of the climate crisis. Congestion pricing is really that signal that's going to get people out of their cars into mass transit. It's going to help us cut traffic, which is entirely too slow.
Now, some political leaders are still pushing for the plan to be backtracked, and there is, I guess, the possibility that a new presidential administration could wind it back as well. But at this point, it is in place, so you better have your Easy Pass ready, because if
That's true. Trump's probably going to, like, sick the Justice Department on this. New York Fire Department unions sounding alarm about congestion pricing. What are you whining about?
Meanwhile, New York's bravest are sounding the alarm on congestion pricing.
That's right. Union leaders say that this could slow down the response time of first responders arriving to a fire. Let's get
It would slow down response time by having less traffic in downtown?
To the newsroom where Meredith Gorman has more on what they are saying tonight. Hey, Meredith.
Hey, Bianca and Richard. Firefighters are sounding the alarm on having to pay the congestion pricing toll while on duty. Firefighter unions came up.
I'm just guessing this because it wasn't specifically outlined in the webpage that we read the information on. I don't think. First of all, the gantries just scan your plates as you enter. They don't stop you. Second of all, I don't think they're charging you. If there's a fire and the fire department races in, I don't think they're charging you.
Out on Sunday to request that their cars not be charged the congestion pricing tolls. Something that they say they've been asking the state for. Saying that at any given time, about 2,000 firefighters are working, and most bring their cars into work. And these unions are worried about the negative impact that this congestion pricing will have on response times, costs, and public safety.
This is bullshit. This is completely fake. Having to pay $9 a day, that's going to get like
jail
rebate
ain't so bad.
by
I've
my
been there
work 100%.
No, 5 times already.
All we were asking
and this one will be 6. Wait,
far into the zone. Those vehicles are regularly used to transport firefighters to and from their detail to another firehouse when there's a shortage in one spot and they need them somewhere else. We were denied at every turn. We have been putting ourselves out there for the city of New York and for the FDNY, and now a lot of our members have asked us, how do we get our money back?
I think you didn't understand. They mean their personal cars come to work. No, I understand that, and I'm saying that they would get that shit rebate. For one, I don't care. For two, live in the city, then f you. I'm tired of cops and firefighters all living in the suburbs, the most racist-ass suburbs outside of the mixed minority urban area they then go to work in, okay? Third of all, eat shit, I don't care. If you actually gave a shit about public safety, you would acknowledge how better traffic in Manhattan would allow fire trucks to move much quicker to the site of the fire. I've seen what it looks like trying to move a fire truck through downtown Manhattan at 3 p.m. I've seen what that shit looks like, okay? Trust me, this is better for you, it's better for the people, but you don't give a shit about the people because you're a cop. You're a cop.
This unfair tax burden that's been placed on not only them, but every resident of New York City.
We reached out to FDNY for comment, and they told us to reach out to City Hall. The mayor's office saying in a statement, quote, ensuring public safety is a top priority for the Adams administration. We do not expect any negative impacts to the department's ability to respond to emergencies. Union representatives.
That's great. Okay, last one I want to watch.
Official congestion pricing is in effect in Manhattan after years of preparing. It was on, it was off. Plan rolled out Sunday, and while things seemed to go over smoothly over the weekend, the morning commute today will really be the big test, the first real test. Drivers that pass 60th Street and below now have to pay a fee. That includes several key bridges and tunnels to enter Manhattan. For peak hours, passenger vehicles will pay.
It's not even that much of an area, man. It's all south of the park. Like, they could have extended this way further up if they wanted to. It's not even that big a chunk. This is not all of New York City.
For peak hours, passenger vehicles will pay an additional $9. Trucks, depending on the size, anywhere between $14.40 or $21.60. Motorcycles will be charged $4.50. As for off-peak hours, passenger vehicles will be charged $2.25. Trucks, again, depending on their size, either $3.60 or $5.40.
For what it's worth, the road design is substantially different below Wall Street. The grid design is north bit. Interesting. I guess I'll take a look at it when I'm over there.
And motorcycles, $1.05. Now that congestion pricing is in place, will more people keep their cars at home and take the subway? Doug Williams joins us live from Mobile 2 in Midtown with a look at how traffic is there this morning. So, what are we seeing after we've been on the roads for the last couple hours?
Chris, it's interesting. Right now we're on 8th Avenue, and if Ed can give you a glimpse of right in front of us,
oh my God,
it is pretty open. I mean, it
is
8:33 in the morning on a Monday. And 8th Avenue is fairly clear. And so in the last few hours, we've sort of shown you what people are used to.
This is like a miracle.
In the city, driving in the city, trucks double parked, buses, a lot to navigate as always. That has not changed. But there are certain areas, like right now on 8th Avenue, driving right past Madison Square Garden, that feel more open than maybe you're used to.
The cavalry on the way, homie.
Look, we
this
can't
fool
say
won't even know what hit.
that it's because of congestion pricing, but these are the sorts of optics that I think we were expecting. And, you know, we've seen the opposite at times. We've run into our fair share of traffic this morning, but I would say less
there will always be traffic in New York City, but like, you can actually move. They're moving.
And we are used to, the two of us in here are New York City drivers. We're sort of accustomed to a certain level of traffic, especially at this hour. So I think it's important and interesting to look at these images because even mostly folks in New Jersey, out on Long Island, and the outer boroughs as well, may be having to change everything about their routine and their commute for the central business district. And so they may be watching and wondering, well, did anything actually change in the central business district? And it seems like maybe a little bit less traffic than usual, but
a little.
Also, very much the
little. I know I'm not a New Yorker, but a little.
So very much the
what a hellhole. Regardless, are you kidding me? This is peak. This is peak urban. This is great. This is Urbania. This is phenomenal. Look how many people are walking. I mean, yes, New York City is disgusting, like trash-wise, but I'm walking here now. Yeah.
The trucks double parked and the things that you normally have to navigate. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it. We're making our way right now to Penn Station to talk to some commuters who have made their way from New Jersey and see how many of them decided to make the change to Jersey Transit today for their commute. But for now, we're live here on the west side of Mobile Tube. Doug Williams, CBS News.
I'm sure that has improved their moods, those that you talked to. All right, Doug, thank you. Well, drivers who use an Easy Pass will pay less than drivers who use toll by plate. The $9 toll could cost you $13.50 if you pay by mail. And there are credits for Easy Pass drivers who take the Holland, the Brooklyn Battery, and the Lincoln or Queens Midtown tunnels during peak hours, not the GWB. And it's not too late to apply for discounts and exemptions through the Easy Pass website. Emergency vehicles, commuter buses, school buses are all exempt. Residents living in the congestion zone with a household income of less than $60,000 may qualify for a tax credit. A 50% discount is available for drivers enrolled in the low-income discount plan. There are also medical exemptions for those who cannot use mass transit. So you have to really kind of read the fine print, so to speak. Now, union representatives for city firefighters blasted the MTA for not giving them certain exemptions.
We have a very unique situation where our members are regularly tasked with using their own personal vehicles.
Why is it everyone's asking the New Jersey commuters how they feel? No, who's talking to the New Yorkers? Genuinely, who's talking to the New Yorkers? Like, why aren't they walking around the street? Look at this. Live traffic in New York City, congestion pricing cams. Oh my God. Well, I actually don't know how busy this area normally is. I mean, you can see a street down there. This is Jersey City. Let's see if I can find, it's like 5 p.m. over there. How congestion pricing will affect drivers in Queens. Okay, how about the people in Manhattan? This is insane, dude. All anyone cares about in this shit country is cars. Cars and the people in them. Look at this. How congestion pricing will affect drivers in Queens. Tri-state drivers, commuters react to congestion pricing toll. New Jersey commuters say New York City congestion pricing will cost them $22 a day. Some Manhattan residents hopeful of extra. Oh, I'm sorry. Do people live in Manhattan? I had forgotten. I forgot that Manhattan, one of the most densely populated parts of the planet, has people who live in Manhattan. Food industry feeling the cost of New York City congestion pricing. Oh, your truck that's carrying 6,000 pounds of groceries has to pay like $22 on the way in? Yeah, I'm sure your profit margins are sinking through the ground.
The Hudson Square Business Improvement District, welcome.
Good morning.
How will the pricing plan benefit businesses and residents in Hudson Square?
650 views on this one, 1 million subs to CBS New York.
So Hudson Square is a unique neighborhood at the entrance of the Holland Tunnel. Our borders are Canal in the south, 6th Avenue in the east, Clarkson in the north, and West Street in the west.
Love their hair.
And every day
really
at about
pretty.
3 p.m. during the week, and sometimes on the weekends too, we have cars backing up all the way north in the neighborhood.
The Manhattan Bridge motor vehicle lanes were empty at 11 a.m. today. Holy shit. Well, the subway and bike lanes have plenty of uses. Congestion pricing works. It's New York City. It has the best metro, some of the best metro. Like, if you make it just a little bit less convenient for people to drive in, just a little bit less.
So crossing Varick Street during the evening hours for anyone that works or lives in the neighborhood is incredibly difficult, in addition to crossing Canal Street. And so that really prevents people from wanting to go in and out of our neighborhood to try back up to Soho. It makes it hard to get to Hudson River Park, and it impacts our businesses who have this sort of quality of life issue all around them. It's a lot of noise, and it impacts and the people in the neighborhood. We pay for crossing guards every day during the week to make sure that people can cross safely, and that's how big a problem it has been for us.
And opinions are mixed on congestion pricing. How will your organization help communicate the benefits of this plan to both the residents and the businesses?
Exactly, it's a neighborhood, not a highway. Yeah, people from the suburbs think of downtown as the place you drive to do fun things, and all the roadways and parking lots as like the means to help people live. They don't think of the people who live there as people. This is unironically rooted in American racism, in like the post-World War II suburban spread, where white GIs got to benefit from the bill that allowed them to go develop and get their white picket fence while black soldiers didn't. So black soldiers, vets, and black families stayed downtown in urban areas. White people left. This was exacerbated with the collapse of American industry, the Rust Belt. White people fled further out to the suburbs. Black people stayed in the cities. But cities still have the nightclubs. Cities still have the good restaurants with the cool black and brown people who talk weird, but you like them and you like their food as long as they're not scary or whatever. So the white people come back for them. Even before that, think of slumming it. Yeah, no, you're right. Even before that, 100%. So white people go out and they live with the white picket fence in their McMansions, and they drive 25, 30 minutes because there's shit ass to do out in their cultureless wasteland. They drive downtown, they turn it into a highway, they turn it into a massive parking lot, and then they use those facilities in a way that enriches only the corporations, not the people who live there, and then they skedaddle. Yeah, it's just an amusement park to them. They don't treat it like a living, breathing place that people actually live. More people than in their suburbs. And how those suburbanites would cry if someone threw a house party in their block. They will blast their horn at 9:48 p.m. downtown in audible range of thousands of people. And then they go back to their suburbs, their clean white suburbs, and they'll throw a hissy fit. If anything, they'll call the cops if there's like a black guy who just chills in the park next to them past 8 p.m. I hate them. I hate commuters. I hate suburbanites. I hate all these people. It's not really even their fault, but they are like a plague. Like, people talk about urban blight, like what happens downtown New York City, Seattle, Los Angeles, whatever, but that blight spreads from outside and comes within, because all the wealth is taken from those areas, and that's what causes the blight. There's nothing innate about downtown areas that makes the people who live there poor. Quite the opposite. Those are the areas that produce the most wealth. But then that wealth gets taken out and externalized, and they ruin the downtown areas by making it into a highway. What do you think interurban highways were made to do? You think those were made for the benefit of the cities? All the American cities that got carved up with gigantic, like, 8-lane highways running through it, that wasn't done for the people who live in the cities. That was done for the wealthy white people who live outside the cities, who want to be able to enter quickly and easily. They're vampires. Ruin everything. And they don't understand why it's so nice when they go to Paris, London. Is Beverly Hills a suburb? It's hard to say, kind of. Like, it's a suburb relative to Los Angeles' downtown, but it's also not, because it's densely packed, and it has its own, like, very large and robust commercial district. Yeah, like, a lot of LA kind of feels like one big suburb, but there are degrees of it. It's sort of an abstract. LA as a whole is too suburban. LA is a state of mind. Yeah, this strong towns bit is like very radicalizing. You go to downtown where all the poor people are, but look at where the value per acre, Knox County, Tennessee. Not even Manhattan, not even like a mega city. Knox County, Tennessee. Where do you think that spike is? It's every city. Suburbs produce nothing. All they do is they drain resources. That's it. Literally, any city, it's a blight. You just lose money. I went over this whole thing before. I don't want to now, but so why don't you live in downtown Seattle? Well, I don't want to. I like it, which is extremely close to downtown Seattle. If the implication that you're trying to throw my way is that I contribute to this process of urban decay, this is demonstrably untrue. There are urban neighborhoods over downtown. Yeah, I don't live in the suburbs, but if I was like the equivalent for Seattle would be somebody who lives in like Renton or somebody who lives in the suburbs around Bellevue. driving into Seattle every day, either for work or whatever, and then leaving, and there are a lot of people. And it's a problem. So things for everyone. Yeah, Bellevue's all rich people. Well, yeah, but the suburbs are all people are wealthy. But Bellevue also has nothing to do. There's nothing to do in Bellevue. They just have a big mall. That's it. You have a big mall. Certainly not Seattle. Yeah, but that's all.
I've had a lot of interesting and entertaining things happen to me over the past 2.5 years of calling scammers. And this call is easily one of my favorites. This took place live over 5 hours and is literally an adventure. It's like a story. There's twists, turns, character development, and like any good story, to really appreciate the ending, you gotta catch the details along the way. Like quite a few scams these days, it all starts with a phone call, one you might even be familiar with.
This is Jack, and I am calling you from the refund department, and this call is in regard to your refund of $399.
The first half hour or so, they convince you to let them connect your computer, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but hey, if you're interested in getting $399, maybe you'll throw caution to the wind and allow them to connect.
Now just click on the number 9.
Why are there so many things on this list? This is incredible.
I hope you enjoy the story.
It's all defaulted.
I don't even know what these words are.
Okay, click on anything with number 9. Okay, hold on.
I think someone else clicked it for me.
Yes, I am delivery, okay?
Oh, why didn't you just tell me you could use my computer before?
Yes.
What's so funny?
They just...
Did someone tell you a joke?
What kind of joke?
No, I'm asking you, did someone tell you a joke? Is that why you're laughing?
No one. You were me. That's why I reacted wrong. Okay, just click on next.
I can barely hear you, honey. It sounds like you're talking behind a cardboard box.
What I'm saying is that...
And the reason I know this is because my cat likes to play hide and seek. And the other day, when the Amazon delivery came to my house, I hid inside a cardboard box for a few hours and he couldn't find me.
You play with some hide and seek?
Yeah, I think the only reason he found me is because when I soiled myself, I had to go to the bathroom after a while. And I thought, it'll be just a little bit. Turns out it was a lot. It soaked right through the box. It's a real pungent smell, too, so the cats knew right where I was. Anyway,
now can you just watch?
What are we doing now?
Can you just watch? Okay, honey, can you just once again type FORPT.ml?
No.
C like Charlie. C like Charlie, I say C like Charlie. Madam, you type before C is G.
Yeah, you said G.
Okay, you get that out. So I say FORPT, C like Charlie, not G. Remove that PC, C like Charlie. PC, it should be PC, not a PC. Not a
PC, Z is in zebra.
C like Charlie, C like Charlie, madam.
What?
FORPT.
And I can do this all night and still do it.
your computer so we can... Okay. Yeah. Just go ahead and log in with your online banking so we can transfer the money from our end.
No.
Okay.
Why would I do that?
What happened? Okay, that's because like we have to transfer the funds from our online banking to yours. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
But it's my bank.
Yes, your bank up.
How did that get there?
That's what I'm saying. How could that go?
I don't know.
He knows because he clicked it purposely. The next part of the scam relies on you logging into your bank account so they can trick you into thinking that you got the refund. Okay, so gullible financial is fake. A soon-to-be victim of the potential refund scam would log into their actual bank account. Typically, the scammers then hide your screen, but we've bypassed this, so you're going to get a full look into exactly what happens.
Can you just log in with your online banking?
No, I thought you said I already got my money.
Yes, that's what we are doing. Can you just log in with your online banking so we can transfer from our online
Did you give me the money or not? That's what I don't understand. Did you give me?
Yes. I will wait for the money on your account itself right now, right here.
Okay, so I'm good to go then? I can hang up?
No. First log in with your online banking so we can transfer the funds, madam.
What?
Just log in with your online banking from your side. Okay?
Why?
Because, madam, what I'm saying, we are going to log in with our online banking. We can transfer the funds on your online banking itself.
Okay, give me a second. Let's see if I can use my iPad.
I can't see anything right from your side.
No, I'm just logging in on my iPad right now. Hold on a second.
I say, madam, on your computer itself.
Okay, I'm looking at the iPad right now. What should I see?
Madam, I say on your computer, not on your iPad, okay? On your computer. Your computer? On your computer.
Sorry, what did you say about... What did you say about your computer?
On your computer. Yes, on your computer itself. All your bank is up there. Now just fill up, please. Could you just fill up your username and the password so we can transfer the funds as soon as possible?
Okay.
Log in with your online banking.
What you need to be in my account, I guess, is what I'm saying. I need you to send me the money from your account to my account. And if I remember correctly, when I was younger, back in the day, my father, he used to occasionally write checks to his business partner. And what he would do is he would transfer money from his account to his business connections account. And he could do that all while sitting right at his desk. And I still remember that desk very fondly. It was upstairs. There was an attic. And he had tried to convert it to a little bit of an office. You know. And he would put he made a desk out of trash cans that he recycled, and he hammered them down to this ironclad metal desk, and he used to look at me when I would go up there, Susie, and say, look at this, Susie. Look out this window. Everything you see out there is yours.
Right.
If you become the President of the United States of America, which is extremely unlikely. The odds are definitely not in your favor. But if
Morse Mutual.
you do
We're here
not
to
become
help.
the president of the United
I'll
States,
do my best.
you can't have this desk of mine. Yeah, I actually have that desk in my basement. I believe I brought it down when I purchased this home. We brought it down there. Yes, we turned it sideways and the grandkids played with their puppets. The puppet shows. They call it the Iron Throne. No, that's not it. They call it the Firewall, I think. No, that's not it. I can't remember what they call it. It's just a wall.
Okay.
Anyway, it looks funny because it's just a bunch of old trash cans.
Yes.
Every once in a while, when my daughter comes over to get her kids, I say, hey, you better take out the trash. And I'm talking about the children. Oh, but of course, I don't actually think that the grandchildren are actually trash. That would be incredibly rude of them. You know, when I came from the era where, as children, you were supposed to be seen but not heard. And so I've tried to change that around with my grandkids. I always let them talk whenever they want to. Like the other day, Tyler, he was asking me, why would I do that?
Madam, we have to transfer the funds. Then I will listen to your words as well. So can you just put that in?
What?
Can you just put your username and the password?
I know we've been through this like 5 times, right? But that's part of the fun. I'm just pretending like I don't know I'm supposed to log in. Shh.
We are Scooter Brothers! Madam, we can transfer the funds. There is one and only reason we can transfer the funds on your online banking itself.
I know, but you can transfer money. That's what I was telling you. You were even listening to me. I was telling you about my father. He was a businessman. And he used to be able to write checks and transfer money between different bank accounts without ever logging in or even going to the bank.
We will go on a journey of Scooter.
It's a very simple process. I don't think you have to log in or anything like that.
We can't go with your business. We can't go with your words. As my company rules and policies, we have to follow the company rules and the policies, right? Because I'm working in somewhere, right? So you have to understand
your
that
company's not very good.
Right. So
if my father could do that a couple of decades ago, then you guys must really be behind.
Right. We can, madam. But in our business, in our terms of business, we keep all the records. That's why we can't transfer the funds from our online banking to yours via your local voice. We have to keep notes that we have transferred. That's why.
Okay, just tell me. It's like you just keep using words and you keep talking and it makes absolutely no sense at all. And I've been on the phone with you for over an hour.